It's your boy Crypto Millie back with another one. So the market has thrown us a curveball, and I think that this was a curveball everybody was already expecting, right? I put this post out here on X. We got the GDP information back today, and we were negative 0.3%. So this is Q1. Q1 was the first quarter in the negative, and by definition, if we get another quarter in the negative, right, if Q2 is a negative GDP reading, then technically we are in a recession. Now this was the first one, so I would challenge everybody in the comments to let me know, do things still feel tight for you? Because I know like the last week or so, things were euphoric. It was good to see some of our portfolios rebound, but I also have noticed some of the comments where it wasn't to the point where people didn't want to buy the dip. Like, this correction is not like people don't want to buy the dip. It's just that people, retail specifically, isn't liquid. And I know crypto Twitter, crypto X, whatever you call it, CT, it makes you feel, if you're in crypto every day, like everybody is wealthy in crypto. You see everybody, you see some of these guys at the conferences in Dubai and things. You just think that, generally speaking, that crypto is a place where everybody is wealthy, but that's just not the case. So the choppiness that we are seeing in the market, in my opinion, right, this is very important. We need to close this week for Bitcoin specifically above 93,000. We need to somehow sustain this momentum. And I don't think if you guys remember me saying this, but I was questioning the liquidity and the volume, right? I was saying, man, we're coming in hot, but you can see that we're just not even getting more volume than we've seen last week, right? And this is what these market makers do. And this is why I've personally proceeded with caution. The rally itself has potential to keep going, but it's like, you see the runway, you're in a plane, you see a runway, and you can make it off this runway. But there's a tornado that's coming, right? And you just don't want to get hit with that tornado. And that's kind of like where the market is at. It's like, we know at some point we're enter this environment where liquidity will be injected in the market. But the problem is when, right? And will retail make it, right? Will most of retail, right? Will we get wiped out by time capitulation before we even reach that moment where we can generally see an altcoin season, right? It sounds easy when we say, like, everybody has to make it to the finish line, and it's probably some of the reasons why I know I'm kind of like ranting here, but I'm subscribing to that mentality, hustle over opium, because that's what you need right now. You need hustle, because if you have your hustle and you have your financial situation stable, whenever you run into these type of opportunities, you can buy the dip and buy the dip comfortably. Guys, at the end of the day, we know that, the market is going, at some point in the next 4 years, we're going to have an explosive market, right? Donald Trump just dropped this, I believe, on his Truth Social. He said that this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will soon start kicking in, and companies are starting to move into the USA in record numbers. And this tweet is coming right after the GDP news drop. So he's kind of like saying, hey, the economy is we're headed into tailwinds. It's not because of me. I'm taking over and I'm trying to fix what the issue here. So our country will boom, but we have to get rid of Biden. Guys, let me know. Do you trust the process here, right? Do you trust the process? Do you believe that we have to tear down to really see that pot of gold at the end of the tunnel here? He says, our country will boom, but we have to get rid of the Biden overhang. This will take a while. Has nothing to do with tariffs, only that he left us with bad numbers. But when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient. And again, if I'm just ignoring the news and giving what the market is, the market is telling me. The market is telling me, right? The market is telling me that things are slowing down. Things are slowing down. I'm amazed that crypto has had this resolve. You hear me talk about it, right? This resolve, this resilience, and we hold on to this hopium. And this is why in that live stream, right, there were some people that were agreeing with Mark and was saying, hey, we could fly up out of here and be bearish for Q4. And then there were some people that say, hey, we may just go sideways in this little environment of Q2, Q3, whatever, selling may and go away. And then Q4 is explosive, right? As whatever Trump is trying to integrate into today's economy in the States starts to set in, and we can finally get out of Biden's house and enter into Trump's house. I guess, right? I guess. Consumer slowdowning signs here. Service and manufacturing PMI slowing. Inflation is slowing, but people ain't got it, right? Consumer sentiment at 2.5-year low. And most important, this is the most important thing, retail spending is slowing, right? I believe the job data came out and it was I don't even want to quote the job data, but I don't think the job data was actually bullish, right? I thought the job data, from what I was seeing, the job data was actually, people were saying the sentiment behind it was bearish. So, yeah, this is a little bit of wrench in the game. We'll have to see if crypto can sustain that momentum. If the VIX can stay under 30, remember that was a bottoming formation signal we were looking for. Right now we're sitting at about 26. Also on the bull case here is the DXY. The DXY, even in the midst of this slowdown that we're seeing, is still in a downtrend, right? It's still in the downtrend and it's still under 100, right? So we'll just have to see how the stock market reacts to this information, right? And if crypto is truly decoupled from the stock market. Let me know if you think crypto is decoupled from the stock market. Guys, I know y'all don't want to hear this type of news. This is not me playing either side of the fence. This is me just, giving what the market is telling me, right? And the market right now is reacting to the negative GDP, right? It's reacting to the negative GDP. So we'll see if tomorrow and the next few days we start to rebound because of the strength of crypto. But it seems like a lot of banks, JP Morgan, and these hit articles are being written about a 50-60% chance of a recession. Do you believe that we may go in a recession? Let me know. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.